For my E5s, your monthly housing allowance in Colorado Springs is going to be at $2,358 a month with dependents. And right now there are brand new built to rent communities popping up all over the Springs. And they want $2,400 just for a 3-bedroom townhome. And Colorado Springs is kind of calling this like their affordable housing solution. But here's the kicker. That same $2,400 a month could be put towards a $340,000 home with 0 down. So let's get into it. Look, I have been watching these apartment complexes and built to rent communities pop up all over Colorado Springs. I'm talking the Powers Corridor, Interquest, Briargate, and honestly, they do look amazing. I will give them that. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that renting is never going to be the right call, but let me just tell you a little secret. If you think renting is your only option because these developers are just marketing the ultimate answer to Colorado Springs affordability housing problems, you are being lied to. And I just want to take the time to show you the real math so you can fully understand all of your options before signing anything. So let's look at the numbers. Colorado Springs went on a massive apartment and home building spree over the last couple of years. Permits basically doubled. There are new complexes and built to rent communities popping up everywhere you look. And because of this, the average rent has actually dropped by about 12% because there is so much supply. Now, on paper, this is really going to look like a win for our renters out there. So first, let's take a look at a Polaris Junction. This is a newer apartment complex that's built up in like the Northgate area. And it's really nice. It has an amazing setup. So pool, gym, like the works. It is definitely a luxury style apartment complex. But let's take a look to see what's currently available. So as far as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath goes, we're looking at $2,366 for a 1,400 square foot home. So now let's move on to another newer apartment complex. We'll look at Ridgeview Place. So for this one, again, similar kind of feels, very luxury style, all the bells and whistles, tons of amenities for this place. And if we look at the floor plans that are currently available, if we look at a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, we're looking at $2,300 a month. Now, something that's kind of new and a little bit different here in Colorado Springs is they're building these communities that are called built to rent communities. So these are now like townhomes and just houses in general that are built for people who are just looking to rent newer models. The first one that kind of popped up on my radar is Carefree Village. Now, if we're talking about affordable housing, like this one actually is affordable. Doesn't have a ton of bells and whistles like some of the other apartment complexes or like the newer built to rent communities, but it's newer. And right now their floor plans are starting at $2,100 a month. And again, for a 3-bedroom townhouse, that's actually a really good deal. And so finally, what kind of sparked this for me was the Aventura communities. Again, rent to own homes and they're freshly built. It's a build to rent community. And taking a look at their floor plans for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home is gonna start at $2,800 a month. And like, don't get me wrong. I think the main reason why they're charging a premium for this is because it is in the Black Forest area. But communities like this are popping up around Colorado Springs, and they're calling this like the affordable housing solution. And now I will say, because these new options are popping up everywhere, they're actually really shaking up the rental market. So even though these new builds are just on the more expensive side, they force some of the older apartment complexes to finally start dropping their prices. And that is exactly what has caused that 12% drop in rent we've seen over the last year. And I mean, really think about it. Nobody is going to pay top dollar for an older apartment if they can get something brand new that's just a little bit more expensive, right? But let's look at the hidden costs here. On the surface, these numbers look relatively reasonable, but I wouldn't call them like affordable. When I work with buyers and renters, a lot of people are trying to keep their housing costs under $2,000. And honestly, if that is your hard limit, sticking to renting right now might just be your best bet, because just finding any sort of like new build or home purchase at that price point is going to be extremely difficult. But for like the 2,200 to 2,400 examples we're looking at, it's not as affordable as it sounds. So once you start tracking down some of the hidden fees, I'm talking like pet rent, deposits, parking fees, paying extra for your garage, that base rent can easily balloon to $2,500 or more. And here's kind of the part that people don't really think about, is that every single year that rent is always going to go up. And the national average is about like 2 to 3% annually. So that 2,300 today could be 2,350 like next year. And then the year after that, 2,400. You're gonna get zero equity and just zero like tax benefits. Are you kind of tracking? And that is where buying becomes a real option. Whether you're a veteran using your VA loan with zero down, meaning your BAH can completely cover your mortgage on a $340,000 house, or a civilian using your first-time buyer assistance through CHFA, your monthly payment is going to line up right with what you're throwing away for rent. And the difference is that one of these options is just gonna help you build your net worth, while the other one is just gonna be, throwing your money away every month. So let's look at what is actually on the market right now. We're going to run the numbers using the same $2,400 monthly budget. And just keep in mind, when I say $2,400, I mean your true total monthly payment. That is including your mortgage principal, your interest, property taxes, and your homeowner's insurance. And that is the real, just all-in number right there. And using your current VA loan at 5.9%, or maybe, the FHA loan at 6.25% for my first-time home buyers out there, you can realistically afford a home priced anywhere between $300,000 to $340,000. And that's just the price bracket that keeps your total monthly payment comfortably within $2,200 to $2,400 a month. So let's see what you can actually buy right now in Colorado Springs for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. So for this first home, it has been sitting on the market for over 300 days. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, definitely on the older side. Built in 1956, flipping through the photos, you can just see how dated it is. But this is just a perfect example of a home that you could probably get for under $2,400 a month. So for a 2-bedroom, 3-bath, that's 1,200 square feet. That's not too bad. And because it has been sitting on the market a little bit longer than usual, that definitely gives us the opportunity to negotiate like seller concessions to get you to that point where you can probably get into this home with only paying $3,000 out of pocket. So I'm talking like $1,000 as your down payment, the other $2,000 to cover like inspections, title fees, different things like that. So this is a perfect example of that. Now let's flip to our next one that's on the market. This one has specifically been on the market for 93 days. And honestly, in my opinion, I think the reason why it's just been on the market that long is because of the HOAs. But it is a decent size home. So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,600 square feet. It's priced really well for the size that it is. But my huge thing, if we were trying to get in and start negotiating on this one, the HOA is going to push your monthly payment a little bit higher. So I would either want to try to negotiate with the seller to either drop the housing price or have them pay concessions towards helping you buy down your monthly interest rate. And again, it's just using different techniques like this that can help you get into home ownership without just totally breaking the bank. Now we have our final house. This one's been on the market for 127 days. So my biggest concern for this one is, one, why has it been on the market for this long? And just looking at the history of this house, you can see that it's gone under contract and then come off of contract and just been put back on the market multiple times. So that's just a huge red flag to me of like, okay, what's specifically wrong with this house? So before we would put in any sort of offer, I would definitely want to talk with the seller or the listing agent on this one just to figure out what is going on. Because the fact that it goes under contract and then within like a week, it's back on the market. In my opinion, there's something that's going on with inspections And so it'd just be a really good idea to figure out, okay, what's wrong with inspections a total deal breaker? Can we still get financing on this house? But again, because it has been on the market for so long, I would definitely want to negotiate on this one. Either try to decrease the price, have the seller pay towards closing, cover closing costs, maybe do your interest rate buy down. Because it has been on the market for so long, you definitely have a lot of room to negotiate. And again, it's a decent sized home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,700 square feet. You know, keeping your payments under that $2,400 mark, you're getting something way bigger in a home than you would in an apartment complex. And it all just kind of comes down to just using the right techniques, being flexible on the type of home that you're looking for, and just understanding what's going on with the market. All right, guys, so let's kind of look at this like side by side. So to just be totally crystal clear here, for renting, you're looking at $2,200 to $2,500 a month total. And sure, you're gonna get like the nice place, the cool amenities, and all the flexibility that you could ask for. But you just get zero equity. Your annual rent can increase over time. And then when your lease is up, you're gonna have absolutely nothing to show for it. All of that rent you're paying is going straight to your landlord. Now buying, you're looking at the same exact thing, so $2,200 to $2,400 a month total, except now you get a home you can actually own, fixed payments for 30 years, tax deductions on your mortgage interest, and then equity that builds up every single month. Plus, when you eventually PCS or move from this property, that equity is going to stay with you. And just to kind of really hit this home, guys, so according to our Federal Reserve, the average homeowner's net worth is roughly 43% higher than that of a renter's. And that is not a small gap. That is just the power of home ownership. So in my opinion, Colorado Springs has a neighborhood for every single budget, rank, and just salary point. You just have to be extremely realistic with your expectations. Now, I need to just be fair here, because I'm not going to just sit here and tell you that buying is always going to be the answer. Renting definitely makes sense in a few situations. So first, if you aren't like planning to stay in Colorado Springs for more than 3 years, you really just need to rent. For my active duty friends, tours can be very, very short. So unless you're buying a serious fixer-upper to flip yourself, or you're just renting out rooms during your time on station, you run the risk of not building up enough equity to cover the costs of buying and then selling. So making purchasing just completely not worth it. And then second, if your credit score just needs work, you might have the income to comfortably handle the monthly payments, but if you don't have the required credit score, it's going to be very, very difficult to find a lender just willing to approve you. And finally, if your hard limit is under $2,000 a month, like I mentioned earlier, renting might genuinely be just the best bet for you. I'm just not gonna lie. But if you're going to be here for 3 to 4 years and that math just makes complete sense, I do recommend just at least looking into buying. I will die on this hill. So here's the bottom line, guys. If you're getting PCS orders to Colorado Springs, or you're just a first-time home buyer trying to plant some roots here, and you've just been looking at those new apartments and you're thinking, man, like renting is my only option, please know that it's not. If you want to see exactly what your income or your BH can buy you, not rent, please feel free to reach out. I love helping people start their vivid lives here in Colorado Springs. And if you're just unsure of what you can qualify for or where to just start as a first-time homebuyer, please feel free to check out this playlist right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.